So today we're unboxing a 200 watt solar panel, and the idea is that when you add the solar panel to the original power in the box, which I unboxed, you'll see I put a little card up here where we unbox the power in the box. Now what this does is it takes that power in the box off the grid. So the idea is that we're going to draw power from the sun to charge the battery and then run off the battery. So let's get into it. I'm quite excited. We're doing it in the garden because the chances are you're going to do it in your garden. And then when it's all up and running, then you'll find a place on your roof or something like that to put, or just outside your office. But we're not talking about a major installation which connects with your grid at home and everything. This is completely independent of it, so you don't need an electrician. You can do it all yourself. I'm probably going to need some help here. Andy, can you give me a hand, please? We're just going to pull this straight up and then take it away. Okay, just take the box away. Okay, so there's our panel. Take all the cardboard off and so forth. So what you've got to be careful of is that it's in the sun, it's already producing current. You've got to be careful. This is like you're now playing with it live. So we're going to put it down. Okay, so here are two connections. And I'll just put them there so you can see them clearly, a male and a female. So here you can see the solar panel. You can see that it's producing 18.9 volts maximum, and the maximum power is 200. So it needs full sun to get you 200 watts and that voltage. And those are the two main things we're looking at here in terms of it. It needs to be compatible with the power in the box, and this panel is compatible. Okay, we've got it all set up. I see the shadows are appearing, but we're doing the installation just to test out on the lawn. Unboxing always happens in the garden. We're going to lean it against that table. I put a cushion there so we don't damage it. And we've got our cables ready. We've got 5 meters of cable here. Goes through a circuit breaker. Now the circuit breaker is actually a fuse. So it's wise you need a circuit breaker anyway, so you might as well make it a fused circuit breaker. Solar panels get plugged in here, red on the plus. See PV plus there, red on plus, and negative is black. Be very careful to always have your red and your black. Your red into plus everywhere. This is where I'll take this off. So this is where we plugged into the battery, and this side we plug into the grid. Now I've never plug this in here because then it's just you plug it into yourself. This is where you plug into the grid, but we're off the grid completely. And what we're doing is Warren's sitting at his desk working. We've got a watt meter in place here, and you can see he's using 81 watts, 85 watts thereabouts. Let's call it 100 watts for the sake of the exercise. And that's a lamp, a big screen in his laptop, and he's charging a cell phone. So for a sort of a home office situation, he's using less than 100 watts, and 100 watts we have the 80 amp hour battery in here. It comes standard with an 80 amp hour battery, and with the 80 amp hour battery, you'll get 5 hours of this amount of usage of 100 watts, and that'll only deplete your battery to halfway. And you want to do that. You never want to use more than half your battery. So in your calculations, if you've got an 80 amp hour battery, always calculate down to 40 amp hours. All right, so we're all set up here. I'm just going to show you what this looks like at the moment. On the display, you can see the input is 0, which means that we are not plugged into the grid. You can see that, staying fresh. We are drawing from the battery, and we're using the first quarter of the battery capacity. You can see that. So it immediately goes to this stage where the first quarter is being used, and it's powering the load. And our output is 231 volts. That's the same as the grid. You see that there's naught. So if we were plugged in the grid, we'd see 231 there. And this is the amount of load you're drawing. You see we're only on the first little bar. So it's a really low load. So and bearing in mind we're only drawing 73 watts at the moment. Okay, so we are now going to go and plug in. So let's go and plug it in. And once we plug it in, we're going to be charging at a higher rate than what Warren is using here. Warren is using 70 watts. We're going to be charging about 100, 150 watts right now. So by the time we finished with this little video, there's going to be more electricity power in this box than when we started, because we're going to get some free from the sun. Okay, so being very, very careful. Red gets plugged into plus always. So here's the red plus, and we've got a male and female fitting here. Feel the click, just one click, there it is, that's in. And just a note, if you pan back there, you can see the circuit breaker is open. As soon as I turn this, as soon as I pick this up and into the sun, as soon as I pick this up into the sun, it's going to start producing voltage. It's live. It's live DC current. It'll give you a nice shock. So let me put this in now. There we are, it's clicked, it's live. Okay, so the system is live now. And then we're going to go up now, and we are producing electricity from the sun. It's that simple. And at full sun, this is going to be producing 200 watts. It's a 200 watt mono screen. When I plug it in, it's going to show me the panel over there. Okay, so let me plug it in. So over there's our panel. And the panel and the battery are both supplying the load. It's hybrid, so in other words, it is intelligent. It's intelligent, and what you do is you can set it to prioritize sunlight. So it'll take sunlight first, and then grid second. That's this one. And battery power third. So typically in your home, you'll keep it plugged into the grid, and you'll have that outside. That'll be busy powering your battery, so at least you don't even pay for your own electricity. But you've got these basically two systems, so there's redundancy there. When this power's out, the sun's still out, and on a rainy day, you might need the grid more. And then you've got your battery as your backup. And what I said, if you are running about 100 watts, like we are now, you can use this system, battery power only. In other words, on a rainy day with load shedding, 5 hours. Before you've actually used half the capacity of your battery, which is just where you want to be. I'm about to plug this into the grid. We've got an extension cord because we're working outside. As soon as we do that, that number there is going to go to approximately 230 volts. And then those two will even out. And there we go. So I'm going to plug it in now. You'll watch what happens. Here it is, 224 volts. So right at the moment, it's charging from the grid, 220. You can see there's the grid. It's charging the battery. The solar is charging the battery. And the grid is doing the bypass power. We are off the grid completely. Warren's sitting there, he's busy working away, and we are gathering energy from the sun. And after the sun sets, then you start using the battery only, because right now he's using the grid, he's using solar to power all of that. And so Warren, when the sun goes down, how much longer can you stay off the grid?
5 hours.
5 hours with the setup.
5 hours, yeah.
And you can extend that by unplugging your cell phone. I've got free energy now. And you can switch that off. Let's switch those off. Switch off your screen. Let's see what happens. Good, just use your laptop screen. So Warren's laptop alone is using 34 watts. So you can go all night. Warren, you can work all night. You can do an all-nighter. And in the morning, there'll still be power in your battery.
So if Eskom goes off completely for a day?
You've got 15 hours in your battery.
Yeah.
You've got 15 hours in your battery.
And that's never mind that when the sun comes up, you carry on working.
Yes.